Parents and educators, do you have a social media agreement with your students? Well, we're rooting for the students here at smartsocial.com, and we want them to have the best experience online that's also safe and positive. So I want to show you, if you bought your students a new phone or you're about to buy them a new device of any sort, whether it's iPhone or Android, I want to show you how to keep this safe and smart so that they can be online with their friends, but also make sure that you're looking out for them in the best way possible. Before we get started, if you've come at all confused about allowing your students to use a phone, our goal is that you go home a little bit more comfortable with a game plan. I invite you and your student to join me as I go over each part of the agreement step by step. We have a course where we walk your student through it. We're not against your students, we're working with them at smartsocial.com. Now, kids can get addicted to phones. I want to show you a little story. This is Dorothy. Now, this isn't a picture of Dorothy, but this is Dorothy right here. Dorothy texts this or sends a tweet of this message from something. She says, "I'm leaving social media forever. My mom took my phone. I'll miss you all so much. I'm crying goodbye." And this is a picture of a celebrity. She tweeted this from her Nintendo 3DS image share software. Now, a Nintendo 3DS is like an old Game Boy, but it's got dual screens and they're color. So she tweeted from that. Her mom took away her iPhone and she tweeted from that. You'd think, okay, cool, game over. Dorothy, you are clever getting around that and figuring out how to use another device to get to Twitter. Game over, right? Wrong. You see, then Dorothy's mom tweets this. "I saw that Dorothy has been using Twitter on her Nintendo DS. This account will be shut down now." And she sent a picture of Dorothy, basically of the device, right? Game over. Dorothy, you're caught. Haha, right? Wrong. The next thing Dorothy does is tweets this one. "Hello, my mom took my phone and Nintendo DS, so I have no choice but to use my Wii, my Nintendo Wii. Thank you all for the support and the love. I'll answer my direct messages and follow back when I have a stable connection to Twitter. Bye, love, Dorothy." Now, the Nintendo DS, or the Wii, as you probably know, is where you put a device in your hand and you can play tennis and all those other things. It's like the white device. Very popular a few years ago, and yes, it can access the internet, as you can see here. Clever Dorothy, you'd think game over, right? Wrong. Next, she tweets this. "I do not know if this is going to tweet. I'm talking to my refrigerator. What the heck? My mom confiscated all of my electronics again." Sent from the LG smart refrigerator. That's right, she's talking and tweeting through her refrigerator. Now, one of the questions I have for you is, do you think that we can keep Dorothy off the internet? The answer is no, and we're not here to do that here today. What we're here to do is to talk to Dorothy about the parts of the internet that she can use and to be safe and to explain to Dorothy the dangers. Rather than telling her what not to do, let Dorothy make wise decisions on her own, because you won't always be around for her to see what you recommend. Now, if you feel worried about your student using his or her smartphone, you're not alone. The Pew Research Center says how parents feel about and manage their teens' online behavior and screen time. Just really quickly, 65% of parents worry their teen spends too much time in front of screens. And as parents were asked this question, a lot of them said they're spending too much time, like a lot, and then some, and then losing the ability to communicate in person. 28% of parents said their student is losing a lot, and then some, sharing too much about their life online. More than half are really saying that there's a problem here. Now, next, let's talk about the screen time dangers. So we know about the addiction. We know that it's changing students' chances of interacting, of being more presentable in the future, of talking on the phone, of having the normal ways of communicating that you and I are used to. But MIT Technology Review says that phones can cause depression. Teens are anxious and depressed after just 3 hours a day on social media. How teens absorb social. The effects of social media consumption on teens manifest in two main ways, according to the study's authors. Internally, depression and anxiety, for example, and externally, aggressive behavior or antisocial behavior. The latter of the two were essentially non-existent among teens who reported that they didn't use social media. So the aggressive behavior and antisocial behavior were really, according to this review, created because of social media. Now, USA Today reports that don't take your smartphone to bed if you want a good night's sleep, because phones, once again, can cause depression, but also keep you from getting a great night's sleep. The sobering stats don't end there. 40% of teens use a mobile device within 5 minutes of going to sleep. 26% of parents do that. Equally disturbing, 36% of teens wake up at least once during the night to check the device. About 1 in 4 parents do. Likewise, if you know about our research at smartsocial.com, you know that blue light keeps you from sleeping. And sleep perhaps is one of the most important things we can do to make sure we're ready for the next day. And without that sleep, it can cause stress, anxiety, depression, SAD, which can absolutely derail everything we want to get accomplished. Teen social media use may increase the risk of mental health problems. Teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are more likely to report high levels of behaviors that may be indicators of mental health problems compared to adolescents who did not use social media at all. Now, we're not against social. We're all about how do we set it up for success, okay? More screen time for teens is linked to ADHD symptoms. A study suggests that frequent use of digital media by adolescents might increase their odds of developing symptoms of attention deficit, ADHD essentially. And what I'm hinting at here, what I'm getting at without telling you what to do, is just consider that this is a car. Would you ever give your child the keys to a vehicle and just say, here you go, figure it out. Drive as long or as little as you want. Go through any neighborhood. Even if you're a safe driver, student, you can drive at midnight. Well, no, you realize that, hey, there's probably other distracted drivers, drunk drivers out at certain times in certain areas and in certain neighbors. Why would your kid need to be that far away from your home without a purpose? And that's what we're hinting at. That's what we're getting at, is how do we create a purpose instead of just a pastime on these devices? And that's why we want you so much to consider having a social media agreement with your students. Time magazine says social media could be impacting verbal communication. Now, you know this, but teens are over face-to-face communication, a study says. When Common Sense surveyed roughly 1,000 teenagers about their habits in 2012, that feels like a lifetime ago to me. Most of them said that their favorite way to communicate with friends was in person. Most teens now say that their favorite mode of communication is texting. And yes, parents, you know that they're sitting next to their sibling or their best friend on the couch. And what are they doing? They're texting back and forth. Now, it's not just that. The reason why we need to have a social media contract is because of the online bullying dangers. Viral YouTube videos can promote danger. Wait, my child would never do this. If we don't talk to them about how to make wise decisions before they see something, they may not know, and they can be groomed into thinking that this is normal. What is the YouTube Fire Challenge? A Michigan boy was badly burned by a friend. Jason said his friend sprayed him with nail polish remover and set him on fire. He suffered second-degree burns on his chin, his chest, and his stomach, right? These are viral sensations where students want a quantity of views over quality of friendships. Now, I'm not making the internet sound bad. I'm merely saying without having an agreement about what they can and can't do, they may not know if something could turn out bad. Now, this is where it gets a little dark. NBC News says that bullying drove a 13-year-old student to kill herself, parents say. The parents of a bullied California middle schooler who was full of life are mourning her death and wondering what more could have been done to save her, her distraught father said on Monday, hours before she was taken off life support. Next, a Cherry Creek High School student in the state of Colorado died by suicide. He was threatened, encouraged to kill himself by bullies, the mother alleges. Now, his mom said that she found about bullying, some of which happened through social media messages over Snapchat, after looking at Jack's phone following his death. Now, Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok, not only can they be full of bullying and not only social media dangers, but also something we talk about a lot here, predators. Your students might ask to download these apps immediately after getting a phone or a new phone or anything. And that could be TikTok or anything else. Let's talk about how these apps and platforms can be dangerous. Now, I want you to know before we dive into it, please consider being on every app that your student is on, right? Go to every neighborhood, be where your kids are at, and every little app is like a park. Go check it out first with your kid, be there with them, and make sure you know how safe the park is, daytime, nighttime, alone, with you, and all that other stuff. Now, police say predators love Snapchat. The Sun Sentinel said Snapchat sextortion is 29, guilty of preying on minors. An indictment said that the suspects would infiltrate the Snapchat accounts of their minor victims and lock them out of the app by changing their passwords. They would then extort the children through Kik, a web-based messaging app, coercing them into sending inappropriate photos. Here's a video.
Sometimes they were asking for pictures, like nude pictures, or information like where I live or my address, my number.
Investigators say 5 men in Southwest Florida used apps like Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr to make fake accounts and then ask children for pics.
And this is what I want you to be really careful of. There have been reports, some of our friends at Bark recently, where one of the moms that works at Bark set up fake, inappropriate, fake accounts as an 11-year-old, 13-year-old underage student, and immediately, within 24 to 72 hours, hundreds of people were messaging saying, hey, let's get together, let's talk, send me inappropriate stuff. So if you think, and if you're a normal human, you may believe, hey, this won't happen to my students. Maybe I'll get a warning. I'll know I'm an active part of their life. Be careful, because as soon as you give your student a phone like this, please consider that you're giving them access to 7 billion people, however many people are on a planet. And I think that 4 to 5 billion people have access to the internet. I might be a little wrong there, but you get the idea. This is Channel 7 ABC News who said that. Now, adult predators can pose as teens on Snapchat as well. And I want you to really consider that wherever your kids are hanging out, that's where the inappropriate predators and other people go. And no, not just predators. I want you to also know that other students can be inappropriate. And also, other students can ask your student for inappropriate information. Now, this is a CBS affiliate, KEPR, that says a man uses Snapchat in attempted child luring at Mount Lake Terrace Elementary School. Yes, elementary school, police say. Police said an 11-year-old student was contacted by a person describing himself as a 14-year-old boy on the social media app. They arranged to meet at Mount Lake Terrace Elementary School. The suspect arrived in a light blue sedan, and instead of being 14 years old, he was identified as a white man in his 20s with facial hair. The two students ran away, hid, and called the police. And this is where students are really noticing that everybody online isn't who they say they are, and we just want you to know about this ahead of time. Now, Snapchat's location feature is dangerous in some of our other videos and in our courses. Restaurant, we teach you how to turn this Snap Map feature off. You can learn more by Googling Snap Map feature, how to turn it off, or you can go to our website to learn more. A restaurant employee used Snapchat to track teen customers, police say. Police believe one of the cooks at a restaurant spotted the girls while they ate lunch and then used Snapchat's location application to find them and send them messages. This 23-year-old did admit he asked the girls for inappropriate things. Now, a Peeping Tom admitted to using Snapchat location tracking to find teens. A man was accused of being a voyeur, used Snapchat to find the Scottsdale homes of teens girls that he watched. A 34-year-old man accused of peering into windows of Scottsdale homes to watch teenage girls told police that he used fake Snapchat accounts to friend other teen girls and track their location. Notice how I put the S on the end of accounts. That's because they don't just use one, they have multiple of these. And they're running a ring of this, and that's where you've got to be careful. Now, next. Here's a video.
18-year-old friends Sherlana and Ray have a 405-day streak going. That means they've been sending each other a photo of something every day for more than a year.
And this is the longest one either of you ever had.
Yeah.
Really? What happens if it ends?
It's a sad day.
So this is a Snapchat streak. In some of our other videos, we teach you how a streak works, how it gamifies your child. But what you need to know is that these devices are not in it for the benefit of your student. In fact, the apps behind these devices are really there to gamify your student into checking in every hour, every minute. They use colors that activate us, red colors to see warning, and they use that in a way to get us to want to open these apps and use them. The more we use them, the better it is for their advertising revenue and their advertisers to get access to our hearts and our minds. And that's what they're doing here with Snapchat streaks. Now, can your child's first phone hurt their online footprint? Second phone, third phone, whatever. If you've noticed that your child isn't good online in the way in which they're behaving, I want to show you not just from a safety perspective, but also schools, colleges are watching. And if your student is in middle school, it's not too early. If they're in elementary school and you give them a phone, they are leaving a wake, a trail. Think of it like a boat. They're leaving a wake behind the boat of little ripples, of waves, depending on where they're traveling and what they're doing. Now, this is from Forbes, and you've probably heard about this, and this isn't just if you want to go to an elite school, but Harvard, the college, rescinded admissions to 10 students for offensive Facebook memes in a private Facebook account. Wait, what? They can't see what happens privately? They can. At least 10 students accepted to Harvard have had their offers rescinded after administrators discovered offensive posts in a private online Facebook messaging group. Now, I want you to replace the word Harvard with your student's future career, college, whatever that is, an opportunity, an internship, because they're all looking in the same manner. They all have access to see the world from, think about it, if you're at a cafe and you're looking from across the street, you can see if somebody gets upset, if something happens. And that's exactly what colleges are doing. They're basically across the street looking right at you. They can see everything we're doing online. And we're thinking, oh, we're too smart. We can basically get away from a lot of this. Unfortunately, they're pretty savvy. And they have a way of looking at all of us. And I teach you that in our program. You can also go around the web, make sure you Google your student, know what their online footprint is. But I want you to talk with your student in a free social media agreement that you could create about how their online footprint can change with everything that they do here. And that'll get them thinking in the future. Why every family should sign a social media and cell phone agreement. There are online dangers. The agreement can set boundaries and reduce fights and disagreements in your family and arguments. It also keeps an open dialogue with your children about their iPhone, their social media use. You can learn more at smartsocial.com, but I hope you'll at least take the leap in 2020 and make sure that you have a smart social media agreement. It's not just for when you get a cell phone, but it's also before your kids get a phone, because they may go to their friend's house and if you don't talk to them about this, their friend may say, here, you can borrow our extra phone that doesn't have a cell phone contract. You can jump on Snapchat with us. If you haven't talked to your student about that, they may do that. And you may be like, oh, that's fine. Please watch one of our Snapchat guides. Learn the dangers behind Snapchat. Get on every app before your kids do. Experience it. We cannot reiterate enough how very dangerous this is if you give your kids unlimited access to everybody online. They do not love your kids as much as you do. And these apps really aren't there to help your kids. So please find another trusted adult, talk this over with them. Please rate, subscribe, and review this video if it's been helpful for you. You can go to smartsocial.com for free resources that help people all over the world. Over 1 million to 2 million people a year are using our resources both in the classroom as well as at home to make sure that they're better equipped to get ahead of some of the safety stuff, the online branding things, and dialogue with their kids about keeping their kids safe. I'm Josh Oakes with smartsocial.com. Thank you so much for all the support. I hope that you're a little bit safer with your kids online. As always, keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids are watching. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.